This is the Washington Times front page for Wednesday, December 13th, 2023. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. President Biden and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy renewed their plea with Congress for billions more in aid, but struggled to provide an endgame for the country's war against Russia. Jeff Murdoch, Ramsey Touchberry, and Stephen Dinan report the leaders huddled at the White House after Zelenskyy met Senators and House Speaker Mike Johnson in a last-ditch effort to get the aid approved before Congress's Christmas break. Despite the full-court press, the two appeared stumped when asked at a joint press conference to articulate an endgame for the war, which will reach 2 years of fighting in February. Biden said he wants Ukraine to be able to defend itself and deter further aggression, while Zelenskyy insisted there is a clear plan, but said it would be foolish to speak about it publicly. Zelenskyy's visit to Washington did little to break the deadlock in Congress. Biden finds himself trapped, demanding nearly $100 billion from Congress to help Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan defend their borders, but reluctant to negotiate with Republicans over policy changes at the southern U.S. border. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin and Washington Capitals and Wizards owner Ted Leonsis are announcing a $2 billion arena project for the teams in Alexandria. Michael Phillips reports the plan for Potomac Yard includes a 20,000-seat arena and mixed-use development adjacent to the neighborhood's new metro station. The Commonwealth is expected to kick in $200 million in infrastructure improvements on top of financing the arena through issuing municipal bonds. Leonsis' company, Monumental Sports and Entertainment, would lease the facilities from the Commonwealth for at least 30 years. The agreement is contingent on approval by Virginia's General Assembly, though there's expected to be some pushback by Alexandria neighborhood groups. Leonsis can move the region's NHL and NBA teams out of Washington, D.C.'s Capital One Arena as soon as the 2027 season. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser has made a last-minute pitch to keep the teams, offering some $500 million in improvements to Capital One, which received $40 million in upgrades funded by Leonsis in 2018. Israeli military officials say they're recording major victories in their campaign against Hamas. Hamas has suffered significant setbacks in the last week as Israeli forces push forward in both the northern and southern Gaza Strip. Hamas and other Palestinian groups also still hold more than 150 military and civilian hostages that Israeli forces have been unable to locate. The U.S. has backed the Israeli campaign, but President Biden this week again warned the Israeli government, saying it risked losing international support because of its indiscriminate bombing in Gaza. Harvard University is backing embattled President Claudine Gay, rejecting demands to remove her despite anti-Semitic incidents on its campus. Valerie Richardson reports the Harvard Corporation said, "We unanimously stand in support of President Gay," in a highly anticipated statement following speculation about her future. Gay is the first Black person and second woman to be Harvard's president, a post she assumed in July. At a December 5th congressional hearing, she said that whether calling for the genocide of Jews violates campus rules or not would depend on the context. And finally, a new House committee report says a generation of economic interaction between the U.S. and China has failed to moderate China's political system. Bill Gertz reports the Select Committee on Strategic Competition between the United States and the Chinese Communist Party stopped short of calling for a complete decoupling of the U.S. and Chinese economies. Instead, a report from the committee presented a new strategy for policies that place national and economic security at the root of all economic engagement with China. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.